Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories mixed with Am I the Butthole as well. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too? I know I say it every single time, but it really does help out. So thank you so much if you do these things. And do not forget, it is Pet Text Tuesday, where we share your pets throughout the video as well through various screenshots you guys send me. And if you'd like your pet featured in a Pet Text Tuesday, don't forget to send it to me at MarkNarrations over on Twitter with the hashtag PetTextTuesday to allow me to be able to share them throughout the video. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from a throwaway account who says, "Am I the arsehole for refusing to house my niece after she purposely missed her flight? I, 25 male, and my partner Lana, 28 female, moved out of my home country 5 years ago due to my partner getting a job offer she was passionate about. So I quit my job and moved. I've since also found a good job. My house is a 14+ hour flight away from the rest of my family, but since me and my partner have good paying jobs, we're able to fly home for important holidays or events. We usually stay at my dad's or her parents' house. 2 years ago, my niece Lexi, 19 female, decided to study in a university in my city, so I offered to house her, so my half-brother, her father, 36 male, wouldn't have to pay extra expenses on top of her tuition, or stress over her living with strangers. The courses she was taking finished a few weeks ago, and she was meant to leave a few days ago. We decided to extend her stay so she could say goodbye to her friends, do a bit of partying and enjoy the country without the stress of school. Lexi now claims she has fallen in love with the country and doesn't want to leave. Thing is, me and my partner are tired of her. We want her to leave. She's a lovely kid, but it's been 2 years of dealing with her and we want some peace and quiet. So we told her that we were sorry, but we couldn't house her anymore. She didn't take this well and offered to pay us for rent or split the bills, but money was never the issue. She calmed down eventually, and the morning of her flight, she got everything ready and I drove her to the airport to say goodbye. I didn't stay there since I had other things to attend to, work and cleaning the guest room. Lexi purposely missed her flight and called me hours later so I would pick her up from the airport, explaining how we had no other option than to let her stay. I could tell from her smugness that she missed her flight on purpose, so I asked her and she got defensive and started rambling about how it was my own fault that she was forced to do this and that I should have just let her stay. I told her to fuck off and left her stranded. My half-brother is now blowing up my phone. The rest of the family is too, and begging me to take her in for a few more weeks and asking me to fly back with her to make sure she doesn't pull the same thing a second time. I told them that I've already done more than enough, that Lexi is 19 now and should be acting like a responsible girl and taking care of herself. Lexi has been staying at a hotel for the last few days, but her funds are slowly draining and she doesn't have nearly enough to house and feed herself for much longer. Lana and I don't know what to do. My family is begging us to help. I had to turn off my personal phone because I couldn't deal with them. Am I the arsehole? After all, she's just a child. Now, in my opinion, I think he was more than generous in this particular situation, that you took her on so there was no extra expenses on top of her tuition, and she was living with family at the time. And of course, after a while, after her studies are finished, you're going to want your home back. You're going to want that space because it must be stressful. I wouldn't want to live with an absolute stranger for a period of time. So I think he was very kind to do that. And unless there's something else going on, like the reason she doesn't want to go home, then, I don't blame you for just wanting her out. And it certainly doesn't look that way from the way you explained. You could tell from her smugness that she missed her flight on purpose and then, said it was your own fault that she was forced to do this. It sounds like a very entitled attitude in this particular one so far. But Bane Kilgrind says, info. What country are you sending her back to? Because in terms of the freedom that women enjoy home could be quite a bit worse for her. OP reply saying it's not worse, it's pretty much the same as my country. Double Dig says yes, like others already said this is a power play. Go on vacation to another country. That way, you can tell them I can't instead of no. Don't forget the security system. I do see a break-in entry and staying in your house until you arrive back. By the way, why can't she take the next flight? Not the arsehole, by the way. Party mistake says not the arsehole. Teenagers think the world revolves around them. Let her run out of money and then she will be on the first flight back as soon as she finds out she has nowhere to stay. I don't know where you live, but she doesn't need a work visa and permission to stay past her degree. Let reality do its thing. But I have one stupid question. Your brother had her when he was 13, so he got someone pregnant when he was 12. Hope you reply saying he had her when he was 17. My brother is 36 now and Lexi is 19. 36 minus 19 equals 17. Creative Cookie says not the arsehole. She's not entitled to your home. If she was so in love with the country, she would have talked to her dad about staying with him while she got a job, or tried to arrange to rent a place with friends from university, or asked you for a specific amount of time to get a job in housing. She would not just expect you to let her stay indefinitely. I'm guessing she just got comfortable and didn't want to deal with change. All Flowers Smell Sweet says she's 19. She's considered an adult in most places. The consequences for her is to run out of money. When/if she runs out of money, tell her there is a plane ticket home at the airline waiting for her. You do need to buy the ticket/non-refundable. Once she's home, she'll have lots of family to stay with, or tell her father to come to the hotel and collect her to ensure she makes it home. You've done enough. Don't enable her or her entitlement. ETA. I know that the brain and maturity are still developing at 19. That's why I said considered an adult. And last one from Beneficial Rain, who says not the arsehole. Refund the ticket, buy a new one. Give it to her along with a list of homeless shelters in her area. Tell her that if she misses this flight, she'll be stuck living in one of the shelters if they even have room for her. Your family is in on it. You're being taken advantage of. That's why they ask you to let her stay for weeks instead of asking for an airline ticket. They're enabling her. Have you fly with her was just an excuse to get you alone so they could corner you and pressure you into paying for more things. So then OP came with an update which started off with, hello. Thank you to everyone who was kind enough to read and follow our story, left comments and is reading this right now. The support has been overwhelming. I tried reading as many comments as I could and answer as many questions as I saw, but figured that I should do an update/FAQ post. The Am I the Arsehole subreddit has a character limit, so this is why I'm posting this on my profile instead. I'll start with the update. Lana and I tried our best to calm down and talk things with my half-brother and only him. We decided to ignore any family that wasn't directly involved because they were just overwhelming all of us. We exchanged a few messages, then had a video call and redacted a big message we would send to Lexi expressing our concerns and the consequences our actions had. We thought that writing a singular, well-explained message would be better than bombarding her and blowing up her phone with ramblings. In that message, we explained the legal consequences our actions would have, how she made us feel, her father's anxieties, me and Lana's feelings of betrayal, and everyone's worries for her safety and well-being. We clarified that we still love her. Thanks again to whoever advised us to say this, and that rather than upset, we were worried sick about her and wanted her safety above all else. We ended the message with an invitation for a video call scheduled a few minutes after we sent the message. Lana, her father and I were sitting in the call for about 5 minutes before she appeared. The call was full of tears, screams and questions coming from all directions. As much as we all tried to not look like this problem was eating us alive, I doubt any of us had been getting sleep or eating properly. My brother looked the most beat out of us, and I'm sure Lexi could tell. One of the first things I tried to ask my niece, was advised to do this a lot, was ask her why she wanted to stay. She finally revealed that she was scared about her family rejecting her for being a lesbian, and that she had figured that staying here with her girlfriend would be having to go back in the closet. I can't lie, at that moment I was slightly relieved. A lot of people were talking about their own speculations in the comments and some were scary, like her being pregnant or some sort of weird boyfriend trying to trap her in the country. So this being it was a relief. I came out to her. She didn't know I was bisexual because I tried to keep it quiet considering our residence country's culture, and told her how me, Lana and her dad would never love her less for loving who she wants to love. I cried a lot, and so did she. I'm pretty sure I saw my brother try to push back tears too. It was very emotional and personal, so I apologize, but I don't feel comfortable sharing more than that. We all agreed that I'd pick up my niece and bring her to the airport, and if she tried to play us again, this time she'd be on her own for good. Me and her father split costs for the ticket, but she'll be paying us back from her own money with the job she gets once she's back home. I don't need the money, so my brother will be getting my half. I got to meet her girlfriend, Lily. They've been dating for around a year and a half now. From what I've seen, she's a nice girl, and I'm sure she and Lexi will be very happy. I received a confirmation call from my brother a while ago. She is finally back home, safe and sound. We have arranged that she can come visit us and Lily whenever and is free to stay in our home again as long as she asks first. I know that a lot of you will not understand why I'm allowing her back into my home or why I'm being so supportive after what she's done. Maybe some of you will get upset that I didn't blow up or cut off my brother. But I ask you to understand that we are all human and we are all under tons of stress which made us unable of thinking clearly and setting our feelings aside to think rationally. I love my family and they mean the world to me, even if they're messed up. Lexi is a stupid teenager like most of us were. She will be facing consequences for her actions. We're not letting her off scot-free, so don't worry. And she was scared of having to repress her identity again. And my brother was worried about her daughter being stranded in a country thousands of miles away. None of us acted perfectly in that situation, but we have all apologized and forgiven each other. Thanks everyone for your comments, upvotes and awards and support. Even if you just read the post, thank you for taking the time. I also want to answer some questions I got and expand on some things. Someone asked, why was your niece staying with you? I wanted to be kind to my half-brother. I've been very lucky in life and I was blessed with enough financial stability to be able to care for my niece, which took a huge toll off him. I've been given permission to share this, so do not worry. Some of you might have noticed that my brother was only 17 when Lexi was born. That meant he had to get a job right away and work to support his family. Sadly, Lexi's mother passed away a long time ago, when Lexi was 6, from complications after the birth of her youngest brother. So my brother is an only parent to 3 children, the oldest being Lexi. He worked hard to make sure his children could get an education, so I decided to help out by offering free residence for my niece while she studied. Lana also helped sort out her visa. This has brought me and my father's other children, my half-siblings, closer, which was also a reason why I wanted to help. The next question said, Lexi is the same age as you when you moved. She should have figured it out like you and Lana. And says, I already clarified this in a comment, so I'll just paste it here. I had Lana's help. She was already well off, even without the job offer, and had many connections in the country. Part of her family is from our residence country, but she was born and raised entirely in our home country, only visiting during special occasions. Lana was able to find me a job, handled most of my legal paperwork, if not all, lol, and rented our current residence in her name because it's much harder to find an apartment while being a foreigner. If Lana and her family hadn't helped me, I probably would have never been able to move, so I'm insanely grateful. I'm not trying to justify Lexi's actions, but I'm not going to pretend 20-year-old me figured out everything by myself. I had loads of help and I couldn't be more grateful for my amazing partner. Next question said, why didn't she just stay with her friends? Plus more about her girlfriend. Again, I asked about sharing this information and was given permission by Lily, so do not worry. Sadly, Lily's parents are not supportive of her being LGBT. She was planning to find a cheap alternative to going back to her family home, so when Lexi said she had money and they could both stay at a hotel together, Lily agreed and they both shared a room. Regarding Lily's situation after Lexi left, she isn't a foreigner, so she will be able to find a job to sustain herself more easily. Me and Lana offered to help her out in any way we can, buying her some food / inviting her to lunch or dinner. I will see if my work has a position she could fill and recommend her, helping her look for apartments, etc. As to why they didn't stay with friends, it simply wasn't possible. The ones that stayed in the city are already living with roommates, renting rooms, or staying in tiny apartments. The others are going back to their family homes. Legal stuff. I'm not comfortable sharing any more details than I already have. I am horrible with legal stuff, so if you notice me try to dodge questions, it's because I genuinely did not know the answer. My partner and our lawyers handle everything legal for me, and I only know some basic things. Lana is exhausted, so I'm not going to ask her. Sorry for everyone wanting to know. I can say that me and my partner made sure we were protected legally, but thankfully, what Lexi did was not illegal. She made sure of it beforehand, and none of us are in any legal trouble. Someone asked, what countries are you talking about? Opie says this story has been shared anonymously and certain personal details have been omitted for the sake of our privacy. I ask to everyone that has any interest in the story, please respect me and my family's desires for our identities to remain unknown and to respect the information we chose to share or not. Please refrain from pushing or demanding to know any personal details that haven't been shared or mentioned previously. Regarding any of the questions that I might not have answered here, I replied to a lot of the comments on the original post and will try to reply in the comments of this post as well, so feel free to check that out. Opie says, well, this is it. At least for now. I'll probably log off this account a few hours after this post. It's been great reading all your guys' opinions on one of the most stressful things that has ever happened to me. I wrote this post with the intention of giving some sort of closure to a lot of the people that asked for / wanted an update. I'm insanely appreciative of everyone who got invested. Thank you. This has been wild. Thank you everyone for reading. Wow, and I got to say, in the first post, it was all because we only got the details of Lexi almost sort of being entitled, or it certainly felt that way, but in the second one we get the true reason why Lexi wanted to stay, and to hear that she was scared of going back is almost heartbreaking in some way. So I'm glad that they was able to work this out amicably and come to a solution to what was going on. And there was some comments and people saying, but sending her back home to a country that possibly isn't welcoming of LGBT people, but OP directed people to a comment which says, my home country is more welcoming of LGBT people than my current residence country. I am LGBT myself and have been forced to be less open about my identity while back at home. I could be loud about it. Same with women. While it's not a huge difference, women are treated nicer and more protected legally in my home country than in my current residence country. If she had expressed her home life was dysfunctional, both me and my brother have similar beliefs and morals, so I doubt he would be purposely making her uncomfortable. I would have gladly talked with my brother about how to make her more comfortable / her issues on her behalf. This is all so much all of a sudden. Thank you for commenting. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? How would you have dealt with it if it was you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And for our next little story, we're going to go for something a little bit lighter from Not No Potato, and it's from the subreddit Today I Fucked Up, which says, today I fucked up by enraging the parents of my girlfriend by pretending not to know what a potato is. Let me tell you, I've made a bad mistake this evening. My girlfriend, who let me tell you is only my second girlfriend of all time, said I am invited to dinner with her and her parents. I am very aghast, nervous and bashful to be invited to such a situation, but I knew it must be done. I met them nicely, I should tell you, and it started off in a good way. The idea slapped my mind that I should do a comic bit. You fool, to make a good impression and become known to them as a person who is amusing. When I saw that baked potatoes were served, I got the idea that it would be very good if I pretended I did not know what potatoes was. That would be funny. Well, let me tell you, backfired on my face. I'll tell you how. So first, when the potato became on my plate, I acted very interesting. I showed an expression on my face so as to seem that I was confused, astounded, but in a restrained way, curious and interested. They did notice and seemed confused but did not remark, so I asked, "This looks very interesting. What is this?" They stared at me and the mother said, "It's a baked potato." And I was just saying, "Oh, interesting. A baked, what is it again?" And she was like, "A potato." And I was like, "A potato? Oh, interesting. Never heard of a potato. Looks pretty good." And then they didn't see I was clowning, but thought I really did not know what a potato is. So I knew I would be very ashamed, humiliated, depressed, and disgusted if I admitted to making a bad joke. So what I did was act as if it was not a joke, but I committed to the act of pretending I didn't know what a potato is. They asked me, very incredulous, did I really not know what a potato is? Had I never heard of a potato? I went with it and told them yes. I did not ever even hear of a potato. Not only had I never eaten a potato, I had never heard the word potato. This went on for a bit and my girlfriend was acting very confused and embarrassed by my fucked up antics. And then the more insistent I was about not knowing what a potato is when the parents started thinking I did know what a potato was. Well, let me tell you, I had to commit 100% at this point. When I would not admit to knowing what a potato was, the father especially began to get annoyed. At one point he said something like, "Enough is enough, you're fucking with us, admit it." I said, "Sir, before today, I never heard of a potato. I still did not know what a potato is, other than some kind of food. I don't know what to tell you." Well, let me tell you, he got very annoyed. I decided to take a bite of the potato, and when I did, I made a high-pitched noise and said, "Tastes very strange." That is when the father started yelling at me, and the mother kept saying, "What are you doing?" And my girlfriend went to some other room. Finally, the father said I should get the fuck out of his house, and I said it was irrational to treat me like this just because I never heard of a potato before. Well, let me tell you, he didn't take that kindly. Now in text messages, I've been telling my girlfriend I really don't know what a potato is. The only way I can ever get out of this is for them to buy that I don't know what a potato is. I wish I never started it, but I can't go back. I think she will break up with me anyway. Oh my word. I'm sorry to laugh at you losing your relationship, but all over a potato, and you went too far, friend. Now this one's on the verge of ridiculous. Do you ever remember that story? And I think it was a Today I Messed Up story as well, where the guy, I think he goes round his boss's house and she cooks him a steak. I can't remember what was wrong with the steak, and he thinks the window is open, so he's going to try and get rid of it when his boss is out the room. I think it was his boss, I can't quite remember. But he launches the steak and it just hits the window and starts sliding down, and his boss walks back in. Oh, absolute madness. I do love these stories sometimes. They absolutely crack me up. But what do you guys think? If you got one that you've, it's a bit special from Today I Messed Up, don't forget to send it me at Mark Narrations over on Twitter. I'd love to read one of these every once in a while. But just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support and time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today